Hello everyone, Frank here. Continuing from the previous episode of implementing a data grid similar to DevExtreme and DevExpress DataGrid. Today, I wanted to implement the paging functionality. So if you haven't watched my previous episode, you can go to my previous episode. I believe it's episode 19. In that episode, I covered the column definitions. Yeah, the column definition here that have data field, caption, data type, format, and alignment. So today, let's implement page. For a paging, under the configuration folder, I would need a paging configuration class to be able to configure paging. So I would create a class, and I would call it paging config. And I think I would, let's make it simple. So I would have an enabled property and page size. And I would also have, let's have just these two for now. So yeah, in theory, if given a page number, we need to go to that page, right? And we can do that with link query. So with link, right, in C#, given a number of, let's say we're working with data items, right? So we can use link query like this, data items dot skip. So if we are on page 1, then we skip 0 number of records. And then we take how much? We take the page size, right? Let's say each page size has 10 items. Each page has 10 items. Then I would say skip 0, take 10, right? And if we want to go to the second page, then I would skip 10, right? And take 10. Knowing this, what we can do is we can implement some of these functionality here. So for example, I want to know how many items to skip, right? So I would implement a function here. I want to know the number of items to skip. And I need to provide the current page number, right? And if enabled, right? So if paging is enabled, then we would apparently it would be the current page number minus 1 and times the page size, right? Because for example, if it's we want to go to page 1, number of items to skip, well, let's call it page number, not current page number. It's the page number that we want to go to. And let's say we want to go to page 1, then this would be 0. So number of items to skip is 0. Otherwise, if it's not enabled, right, then we would return 0, simply 0, right? So we're not skipping any items. So if this is page 2, we want to go to page 2, then number of items to skip is the same of the page size, right? So if it's 10, then we skip the first 10 items, so on and so forth. So the next one is, number of items that we want to take. Right, so I want to implement that too, number of items to take, right? And again, if enabled, right? If it's not enabled, number of items to take is basically the total number of items. So I need to provide a total items count, and we are returning this total items count. By the way, I got a silent keyboard. It's not that silent. It's not silent, but I think hopefully it's quiet enough and won't be so distracting. So if it's enabled, then we are basically returning the page size, right? So if we only have, let's say if the page size is 10 and we only have 2 items in the list, I think by returning page size 10, and we're executing link query take 10, I think it will not throw an error. Let's see what it does. So we have the number of items to skip, we have the number of items to take. Next one is that we basically want to go to a specific page, right? So if we know a page, then we can just use these 2 functions to go to that, to know, along with the link query, to go to that page. But what if we just want to go to the previous page number or the next page number, knowing the current page number? So I'm going to create those functions first. Okay, so let's do the previous page number given the current page number. Right, so that's easy, I think, if it's enabled. Well, no. If we want to go to, then it has to be enabled, right? So if the current page number is greater than 0, then obviously we're returning the current page number. Sorry, greater than 1, then we're returning current page number minus 1, right? Otherwise, if it's not, then we're just returning the first page. Right? So this is the edge case scenario. So we don't want to return minus, like negative number. The next one also, like the next page also has a edge case scenario where when it reaches the last page, the last page. So for that, I want to pass in the total items count because I don't want to exceed that. So that condition, we should say that if the current page number is smaller than the maximum page number, right? Well, we don't have that. Let's just put this here so that in our mind it's clear. So if it's smaller than that, then yeah, we can just return the current page number plus 1 because we want to go to the next page. If it's not smaller, meaning that we're already on the last page, then we just simply return the current page number, right? So how do we know the maximum number, a page number? It has something to do with the total items count. So I'm going to create I'm actually going to create another function here, and that I will call it max page number, and providing the total number of items, right? And here I'm going to say I need to know the total number of pages, obviously, right? So that is I think it's, yeah, so it's number of pages equals total items count divided by the page size. But these are integers, so to receive a double, I want to force a conversion here. Knowing the number of pages, then we just need to do some so if it's the same as the floor, number of pages, right? Then the maximum number of maximum page number. So we're basically returning this, which you can say max page number. So max page number equals the number of pages. And it's complaining, yeah, this is double, so just force it to integer. Otherwise, if the number of pages is not a integer, then it's greater, so the maximum page number must be equal to number of pages plus 1, right? So then here I just return the maximum page number. Okay, so we have the maximum page number here, and I can use this here and pass in the total items count, and that we will get the next page number, previous page number, next page number, and I think we're good now. Now let's jump back to the component. What we want to do here is we want to display, so we have this, currently it's going through all of them, all of the data items that we have, and display all of them. In this case, there's no paging. But if paging is enabled, right? Because in our paging config, we actually use the enabled in these two functions. We're checking whether they're enabled or not, so we can just use that directly. So in here, we would say we're looping through items, but it's filtered, right? We want to skip. We haven't declared that paging here yet. So let's define that, declare the paging parameter, which can be passed through the parent component. Basically, the developer provide that information, and that's paging config class that we have just defined, and let's call it paging, and let's go back and say if the paging dot skip, not if, we know that paging, and we're skipping the number of items to skip, right? And it's a function that we need to provide the current page number. So the current page number has to be, let's make it a parameter, initialize that to 0, because you see that current page number may be used by the developer. Yeah, so let's do that for so in the case that the developer want to provide a custom pager, in that case that current page number needs to be exposed to the developer, right? So, and we can initialize that to 0, and current page number is going to be skipped over here, right? And then we want to take, sorry, that I think we skipped, and then we take, and how much we want to take, how many items we want to take, which we can just get it from the number of items to take, which I need to provide. So this part we have defined, and we want to, it takes the total items count, number of items to take. Let's think about whether this function is right or wrong. Number of items to take. We provide the total items count, and if paging is enabled, then we return the page size. Otherwise, we return the whole thing. Yeah, I think that's right. So So here we need to provide that total number of items, right? And that's count like this. Okay, so we changed this part, and that should render our data items correctly. Now we need to provide the pager. We need to provide that pager. So let me search for DataGrid pager images. Let's see. So it's on the other one. So go to images. I think I want to do a simple style. I don't want to display all these numbers here. I think I will use something like this, right? Okay. So let's implement the pager here. Again, I prefer use the BOMA style, which we can just use level. Okay, so if you haven't used level, you can go to BOMA website and we can use BOMA. It's actually pretty simple, right? So in order to I want the pager to be on the right hand side, right, which is similar to DataGrid in DevExtreme. And under level, I can just say level to the right, right? And within it, I need to provide another one, which is level item. And here I can just define. So here I would say if paging is provided and paging.enable is true, in that case I would render the pager. And this is predefined pager, and I want to also be able to give the developer the option to provide custom pager. So going back to the paging config, I want to add another property here. I want to say boolean and custom pager, right? So if it's a custom pager, then we render the custom pager. So if paging dot custom pager, then we render the custom pager, which we can provide a render fragment here as a parameter. So, which I also covered in one of my previous episodes. If you haven't used render fragment, and this is going to be a simple render fragment without a generic type. So render fragment custom pager. So and it's pretty simple to use. Going back over here to say if the custom pager is enabled. If we want to use custom pager, then just use custom pager. That's simple. And then otherwise we use our predefined pager here. And the predefined pager for now, I just want to use buttons. I want to have we use button for now, and then we'll change to a better style. So button in BOMA, it's simply called button, and then and this is called previous, right? And then we'll have a next button as well. We just want to make it work for now, and obviously when the button is clicked, we want to go to pre-pref page, okay, and again when its next button is clicked, we want to go to next page, right? So let's implement these two. I think these two should be public, because for custom pager, these two has to be public, right? So go to previous page, and then go to next page. And with that, we can use the paging functionality to say, current page number. We basically reset the current page number, right? And then that current page number can be just used in here, right? And so that we know how many items to skip. Yeah, and then we use take to display. So current page number should be equal to what? Should be, we have that paging next page number, which we only need to provide the current page number, right? And total item count is just data items dot count. And what if the data items is null? Do we have a columns is null? Create a header with reflection. Columns is null. What if the columns are null? Okay, so that wasn't handled properly yet. All right, so this has to be handled to see whether, otherwise it's going to throw exception, but I'm going to assume that the developer will take the responsibility to populate the data items, right? So data items shouldn't be null. Let's assume that. And if you want to extend my code, you can go to my GitHub and to extend that. So next page number is this, right? So, and this one is also the same thing, paging dot, wait, this is previous, so this is wrong. Sorry about that. So this is previous page number, and I should only take the current page number as a parameter. So we have the previous, we have next. What else do we need? We probably don't need anything else. And let's give it a test by providing the configuration. Let's go to the index page, and we need to provide the paging definition here, and we could just use inline, and we can just say paging configuration here. And what do we have? We have enabled, so I want to enable, right? And what else do we have here? We just say custom pager false. Page size, let's use, how many items did we provide last time? I think it was 10 items, right? So let's say we have 3 page size, and we can test the scenario that the last page should only have 1 item. Let's see whether that causes any problem. So yeah, so this should be working. Let's see whether it works or not. So I'm going to just run Control F5, so that enables the hot reload. Okay, so we have the previous next button. Unfortunately, I want it to be on the right, but it's on the left. So let's see what went wrong here. So going back to the DataGrid component, I have level. Maybe I need a level left. Where did it go? Okay, so I'm putting a level left here. And then we go back and refresh the screen and see whether that works or not. Okay, yeah, an empty level left solved the problem. And I see 3 items, right? Hopefully that's, I'm gonna click on next page, I'm gonna see something magic happens. Oh, it works. Okay, it did work. 1, 2. So this is on the 3rd page, right? Because I clicked twice, and the last one should have only 1 item, which is great. So it's working. So that take functionality, I'm saying take 3, but there's only 1 item left. which is fine, right? It didn't cause any problem. So if we're going back and I'm clicking, yeah, this is on the first page, so no matter how many times you click on it, it's not gonna go, because we always return 0. Yeah, number of items to skip is always 0. And then we take 3 from there, right? So let's see what happens if we change that to 2. Right, so to 2, we're gonna have 5 pages. Okay, so first page, it's weird that I can't click, like the first click did not work, and then the second one started working. So this is the second page, and then the third page, the fourth page, and the fifth page, which is right. So we all go all the way to the first one, and then if I click on the next, it's working. But then something is wrong. If I refresh the page and click on the next button for the first time, it's not responding. And let's check what's happening. Yeah, let's check what's happening. So I have this. Oh, so this is index page. So I have this next button, event handler. And the current page number was set to be 0 at the beginning, right? Oh no, the current page number cannot be 0. I'm surprised that it's skipping correctly. So if I provide 0 here, what's going to happen? If it's enabled, so if it's enabled, 0, oh, it's going to return -2. Oh, so skipping -2. All right, so that's something wrong there. So yeah, I think the initialization is wrong, which I have to fix in here. So the first page number should be 1. And let's go back and refresh the page and see whether that fixes the problem or not. All right, so I'm clicking on the next button. That works. That solved the problem. Okay, last one. First one, let's play with some other numbers here just to make sure all of the edge cases are covered. So index component, and what if I use 4? Then I would see 3 pages, and last page should only have 2 items, right? So click on refresh. All right, so 4 items, first page, 4 items, second page, 2 items, last page. And that's working very well for me. Okay, cool. So I need these buttons to be gone. I don't like the huge fat buttons to be here. I want to be a little bit prettier than that, which I will do going back to DataGrid and replace the buttons with actually, before doing that, I want to show which page we are on first, right? So I want to have a span here, right? And then I want to show, number of pages, current page number, right? Current page number of the total number of pages, right? So we do have a maximum number of maximum page number here. Again, this problem happened. So I need to provide the total count, right? So data items dot count. That should be good. Takes a long time for this to disappear. I don't think I did anything wrong. Okay, good. All right, going back, and we'll see whether that's better or not. All right, so page 1, well, needs some spacing there. At least it's showing the correct result. All right, so we need some spacing. Need some spacing here. NBSP. I'll put 2 over here and 2 at the end, and that should be pretty good. Right, that's good. Okay, let's replace these big buttons to just use span. And what should we do with the span? I want it to be bold, and I want to just use the, just use this. Right, so for previous, just use the less than sign, and then this would be greater than sign. Greater than sign, right? And yeah, so bold, greater than sign, and that should be, well, I should have just changed the button, but go to the next page. Right, so that's fine. Alright, so let's see whether that looks okay or not. Okay, cool. So we have these. I think this is wrong. It should be the other way. So I think it should be this side. And then any other thing I want to change, I think I want this to be smaller, and then I want to have a cursor, pointer cursor, right? So I'm gonna use inline style. Font size, I want it to be bigger. Let's use 14, and then the cursor is going to be pointer, right? And I'm going to use the same style here, and I want these to be smaller size, and definitely not cursor. Oops. So I want this to be smaller, and I want it to be not as prominent as the buttons, so I want to change this to gray. Alright, so let's see what happens. Okay, I like this look. If you have the time, you can kind of make this look like disabled when we are currently on on the first page, right? And then make this look like disabled when we're on the last page, which I will not do during the video. So I think we have done a pretty good job, and I just want to perhaps cover the custom pager, right? What if we want the developer to provide a pager? So we have partially implemented this custom pager here. So what if we go to here and then we enable this? Oh, sorry, it should be true. Right, custom pager equal true, and we go back. I expect this pager to be gone, right? This is predefined pager, like we just defined the pager. Yeah, so that's gone. So the developer need to come here and provide that pager, right? So we have that custom pager here, and what should we do here? We should have maybe we should just use buttons, or let's use some buttons, right? And instead of let's make it look a little bit different. Let's use bootstrap, right? So btn primary, so you will see that blue button, which I don't like, but just make them a little bit different, right? So we'll have previous next, and what should we do? So the previous button, when we click, we need to call a function like this. this is previous. Right, and this is next page. Well, for to make it clearer, so let's use a different function name than the one before. And I'm gonna call it pref and next here. And then at the bottom here, I'm going to use private function pref page, and I'm gonna call the grade dot, go to next, well, go to previous page, and then void next page, grade dot, go to next page. Okay, all right, so we have our previous and next button. Let's see whether they work or not. Click on next. Well, it's doing its job, right? I like it. It's doing its job. Previous one is not working. Previous is not working. Oh, and there's a typo, and it doesn't even give me an error. That's very weird. All right. Okay, so Control F5 again, next, previous. Okay, everything works. So what if I want to provide that number of page per page number, off page number? So I'm going to go over here and copy this. Where is it? Where is it? Here. Okay, so we have this over here. But what I want to do is, instead of provide this just as a label for read only, I actually want to implement a input control here, right? And that's number, right? And I think there is a maximum, and that maximum number is supposed to be, I don't know whether when I call grade it's going to give you any problems, right? Maximum number. Oh, it's not returning the maximum number. So we're going to go back and return that maximum number. So that's going to be a property of maximum number, maximum page number, right? And it's going to be read only. And I believe it's going to be paging dot y. Oh, not supposed to be. If I just say paging dot, yeah, okay. So maximum page number. Do I need to provide the total? Okay, I do. So data items dot count. So going back, and I'm going to say maximum page number. All right, maximum page number is a property, and the minimum is 1. Right. So, and we want to bind this to current page. Did we display that? I think we did. The current page number is a parameter, right? I don't know whether we can just do this. Current page number. Let's see whether this works or not. So we just use this. I'm going back and refresh the screen. Okay, it worked. See, I have this input box. Yeah. So will it work? We'll go to next. All right, cool. Right, so I have 3. What if I type 4? Uh-oh, 0, nothing. What if I type -1? Not the first page. Great. So I'm now going to demonstrate how to control these numbers. Yeah, I'm not supposed to go under 1. If we use these buttons, it's actually doing that. Control, but we can actually type in any number we want. But it's not actually creating any issues, like any exceptions. So yeah, we definitely gotta control this number so that it doesn't, if we type in 8, the moment you leave this, like the focus, the moment the focus leaves this input box, it should revert back to the, I believe it's 3, right? The maximum page number. So, okay, so that's everything I want to cover for today. I think in the next episode, I'm going to cover sorting. Yeah, and then there's some other functionalities I want to cover in the future as well. Thank you very much for watching, and if you like my video tutorials, please give it a like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.